Welcome to Minding My Money. I'm your host, Shawnee, and this is where the journey to financial freedom is real, raw, and a little bit fun. I'm sharing my wins, my lessons, and everything in between, $1 at a time. Now, before we jump in, let me say this. This ain't financial advice, just financial realness. Today's episode is inspired by money. You know the song by Cardi B. This one's all about two things. I like dollars and I like discipline. Let's start with I like dollars. Growing up, I feel like wanting money too much made you materialistic, especially in the type of church that I grew up in. It was preached into us that money is the root of all evil. Now, I didn't want to be evil, but I definitely wanted to be okay. And being okay in my mind was having money because money ruled the world. I wanted more, not to be flashy, but to feel secure. What I've unlearned over time is this. I like dollars because dollars means freedom. Freedom means peace, choices, and options. Because wanting more, especially when you come from less, quite frankly, doesn't make you greedy. It makes you human. It makes you hungry. The real question is the why behind it. I ask myself these two questions. Am I chasing this for validation? Or am I building something with purpose? You see, there's a thin line between ambition and survival mode. And for a long time, I definitely didn't know the difference. I was working, grinding, side hustling, not because I loved it, but because I was scared to go back to having what I thought was nothing. I thought if I stayed busy, I'd feel safe. But here's the truth. Constant hustle is not peace. It's anxiety with a planner. And once I realized that, I started redefining success. It's not just stacking dollars. It's stacking peace of mind. And when your money starts reflecting your healing, that's when the real freedom starts showing up. Cardi B was loud, bold, and unapologetic in that song, and I love that. She wasn't asking for permission. She was claiming what she worked for. I wanted that same energy when I was growing up, but for a long time, I played myself very small. I wouldn't sign up for certain things or apply for certain positions because I thought I wasn't good enough. And even when it came to sharing my journey, I was too scared of being too private to be relatable and too honest to be liked. But I'll tell you this much, I'm done shrinking. This podcast for me is my declaration for accountability, for healing, and for growth. I can't hold myself accountable in silence. And I can't inspire others if I'm pretending everything's perfect because it's not. So here I am, flaws, lessons, and all. That means I'm owning my ambition out loud. So for me, there's this moment you reach where ambition and peace finally meets. You realize you can be driven without driving yourself into the ground. For so long, I thought rest meant laziness, that if I slowed down, I'd lose everything I've worked for. But peace doesn't mean you stop hustling. It means you start hustling healthier. Now I take rest days like they're deposits because when you refill your energy, your creativity compounds. And that's the version of me I'm protecting now. The one who's building wealth and wellness at the same time. There also was a time when I spent money trying to look like I had it. I wasn't buying designer because I didn't have designer money, but I bought what looked nice so I looked polished to the world to fit a certain aesthetic. But deep down, I was tired of pretending, tired of performing. See, I'm not the heels and hair girl, even though I played that role for a long time. I'm more of a TLC vibe girl, crazy, sexy, cool, with the comfy crop top and the baggy sweats, and just keeping life simple and real. And when I stopped dressing for approval and started living for peace, I became lighter. That kind of confidence, that's wealth. So, story time. One of the first people who ever held me accountable about money did it sitting right next to me on a gym floor. So, this is the backstory. There was a guy I liked. He was so smart, he was focused, he was driven, he was this entrepreneur that always talked about building wealth. Now, quite frankly, I found it to be very attractive, but I also wanted to keep it professional. But one day, I asked him when everyone had left the gym for the day, and I was like, hey, how do you manage your money? Because I'm struggling. Now, in that moment, I don't know if I thought he would judge me or if he would even help me. But what he did was he said, hey, you know what? Sit right next to me. He went into details and he asked me to break down where my money is going. And I had to admit out loud for the first time that I had an addiction to buying shoes and clothes, but mostly shoes. He said, okay, this is what we can do. From now on, every time I see you, I'm going to ask you if you bought some shoes today. And I guarantee you, every time I saw this man in the gym, he would yell, did you buy those shoes today? And because it was so embarrassing, I made sure I did not buy shoes. As a matter of fact, I unsubscribed to the shoe subscription sites. So for me, that was my first taste of financial accountability. And funny enough, that same man is the one I'm with today. We still have open, honest money talks. And I think that moment changed the trajectory of how I see money, love, and discipline. After that gym floor moment, over time, I started realizing something deeper, that my relationship with money was never just about dollars. It was about deserving for me. I had to learn to see myself as someone who could actually have nice things, not because I was lucky, but because I worked for them, but also within reason. But that internal look took some work. It meant forgiving myself for past mistakes. It meant rebuilding trust, not with the bank, but with me. Because how can you manage more if you still feel unworthy of what you have? So here's my answer. I stopped chasing aesthetics and started chasing alignment. I journaled. I prayed. I started tracking my progress, not just with money, but with mindset. And the more I healed, the more I realized it was never about becoming rich. It was about becoming her, the version of me who handles her business with peace, purpose, and pride. So, we just talked about my background and how I like dollars, and now we're going to hop into how I now like discipline. People talk about self care like it's all candles and bubble baths, but real life self care is discipline. It's setting boundaries, saying no when you want to say yes, and holding yourself accountable when nobody's watching. Discipline is how I show love to my future self because every time I budget, plan, or choose patience over impulse, I'm telling her, I've got you. That's the kind of love that doesn't fade, it compounds, just like interest. From that day on, when I had that conversation on the gym floor with my future boo thing, I made different choices. I learned that discipline isn't punishment, it's protection. When you finally become the one who's building, not just watching others build, discipline hits different. So let me tell you this. If you can't hold yourself accountable, find someone who will. Or write it down. Use sticky notes. Leave yourself voice memos. Whatever you do, just know you're worth the work. Now, as we conclude, let me say a few extra things before we wrap up. I could not stand to hear my mama say a few catchphrases. She will say things like, money doesn't grow on trees. You got some McDonald's money? You need to get a job. But adult me understands. If you ever heard any of those type of sayings in your home, please let me know. But on a more serious note, let me ask you this. What belief are you still carrying that keeps you playing small? Drop a comment in the comment section because I love to know what you're unlearning too. Next time, we're keeping the same energy, but shifting gears into management, mindset, and responsibility. Money Part 2, Stack It, Don't Flex It, coming next week. Thanks for tuning into Minding My Money, where every dollar has a story and every story brings us closer to financial freedom. If you felt inspired, learned something new, or just vibe with the journey, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with someone who needs it. You can also catch more content and behind-the-scenes moments on YouTube and Instagram. Just search Minding My Money. Until next time, keep minding your money $1 at a time.